choosing between buy and rent. Can we start from there?
Buying a new house is something very big thing for a middle class family.
How a home loan actually works.
Your EMI should be nearly 30 to 35% of your monthly income. You should always get a bank loan sanction a little higher than what you actually need. 2 lakhs benefit is I would say a blessing for me.
बड़े बोलते हैं, parents बोलते हैं कि नहीं खुद का घर तो होना ही चाहिए.
People forget in India still when a father is giving his daughter, people consider कि उस लड़के का खुद का घर है.
Hello everyone and welcome to Mind Your Karza with One Finance, a show where we help you understand and improve your relationship with debt products like credit cards, loans and much more. My guest today is a chartered accountant. Anmol Jaju works in a large consulting firm. He's recently taken a home loan and he's here to talk about his experience. Anmol, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for doing this for our listeners. You bring a very unique perspective to this show. You're young, like seriously young. You're a chartered accountant. And actually tell us about yourself, your background.
So I am a chartered accountant and a CPA Australia by profession, and I have been working in the consulting industry,
Right.
Specifically audit and assurance. So I hold nearly 5 years of experience in this field.
I was just going to come to that. 5 years of experience.
Yes, sir.
That makes you what, like 25 or 20, less than that?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Amazing, yeah. So I want to actually, talk about the home loan. What drove you to that? Because almost everyone today says, if you're young, you have to rent.
Very true.
So I want to start with your logic, your thinking when it came to first choosing between buy and rent. Can we start from there?
So I have always been in Mumbai and I had my own house, but it was, you can say, in a building which was not equipped with so many amenities. So I always had the dream of having my own home with all those amenities which are, basic nowadays. For young generation, you need a basic, you say a gym, a podium on the, in the building itself so that you have everything in the vicinity. So I always had that mindset and I was, in fact, you would say, saving for that since my college days. That was there. And during COVID, we saw how, people had to go back to their original homes, wherever they had it. So I feel there should be a sense of security, at least one home, so that where any tough days you have where to stay, where you have your family, you can take there. So I think that perspective I always had in my mind.
Did your family have any influence out here? Because, sometimes I feel कि वो बड़े बोलते हैं, parents बोलते हैं कि नहीं खुद का घर तो होना ही चाहिए. So did that have any role to play?
So here it is a mixed response. They always had that mindset that yes, खुद का घर होना चाहिए. But changing home was something they were very resistant to. I had to spend a lot of time to actually make them understand that this is necessary now. We need to make a change for which we might need to take a debt from the bank.
I'm assuming you're single, right?
Yeah, I'm single.
अरे घर का लड़का को छोड़ दिया मतलब एकदम ऐसे ही जाओ अपने that was fine with your family.
No. So basically, I moved with my family itself.
Okay. Now let's start with the process. Okay, because you're a chartered accountant, you're very comfortable with numbers, and I'm sure that working for a large consulting firm, you also know what's the kind of products out there.
Very true.
How did you start your process?
So once I had selected the place where I wished to move. So I wanted to move near my house because, as I said, my family was not, very, I would say, welcoming to that change of place. So I said, we'll move nearby. I had selected the area, then I selected the flat, after which I understood, okay, this is the cost. And our first discussion at home was, how much do we fund out of our existing house? So that was there, and how much debt will be needed. After I understood, okay, what will be the debt needed, I added a surplus to it that because what you see is, you should always get a bank loan sanction a little higher than what you actually need. So that's when I started the process of reaching out to banks to understand what are the rates going on, because I have been a person who has never taken a debt. My family has never taken a debt. So for me, it was completely new. So I had to reach out to the banks to understand what is the process, what are the policies, what are the rates going on, and then I had to compare each of them. So I started it online, and now it is like once you reach on to a site, you will get hundreds of calls from the banks. So that's how the process started.
Yeah. I want to take one step back and talk about the location, because I heard you talking about the location part, and I know that I don't know who said it, but the most important factor in real estate is location.
Very true.
What was your process there?
So I currently stay on the outskirts of Mumbai. not exactly Mumbai, because Mumbai, the property prices are skyrocketing. So I knew I would not be able to move there directly in one jump. So I thought I'll move nearby where it is near to the all the basic amenities like a railway station, a bus station, airport is not very far. So that was my things which I
Yeah.
thought of, and then I started looking for good buildings around my house.
Amazing. So centrally connected to everything nearby so that
Yes.
your commute is peaceful.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then you come to quality of builder. Okay, the building rather, because which is nothing but the builder.
Right.
So did you have a choice? Like this is your first choice, second choice, third choice, etc. How did you do that?
Right. So I didn't have a specific builder in mind. My only thing was the history of projects that the builder has completed that I'll need to check. And wherever I'm moving, either it has to be I'll get the possession, say in 6 months time, or at least the building is ready. Because I didn't want wherein I have started paying to the builder and the building is getting delayed, the construction is getting delayed, and I have to wait and rent out. Since I was selling my old property, I'll have to go on rent. So that was something I wanted to avoid. That is why I decided I'll go for a builder which has completed the construction. And the place where I moved, there is one builder who has completed a lot of projects, and my old flat was also by the same builder. So I understood, yes, he has a good name in the industry, and that is how I chose that one.
Amazing, because the builder is not someone like Zomato, right? Where you can read the review and
Right.
5-star, 4-star and stuff. So
Very true.
I'm just trying to understand how you did that. Did RERA help you there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I was looking for new projects also, so there were RERA deadlines which I compared, but one or two projects you won't believe, I visited the sample flat, I saw, I was promised 2025. So still we were thinking we'll move, because this process was nearly 4 to 5 months process. And after 1 or 2 months, I understood, okay, the RERA deadline is 2027. The builder is promising 25, but then the builder has changed the date on his website. He has also delayed it.
Very interesting.
So I understood even before the construction has started, he is delaying the deadline. I don't know what will happen at a later stage.
This is very interesting because not a lot of people know when the deadline is changed, right? I mean,
Right.
there's no app, I believe, where a notification pops up and boom, you go
Right.
there. So how did you come to know?
So I was actively visiting the builder's website. So because buying a new house is something very big thing for a middle class family. So looking at the flat layout and all, for those reasons I used to visit the website, and that's when I realized that yes, I had seen 25 here. The builder had promised 25 when I visited the office, and now it is 27.
Fantastic. Let's drill down into your home loan, okay?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, did you have a credit score to begin with? Did you had a credit card? You had a relationship with the bank? What was your credit score to begin with? How did that process work?
Okay, so here I have an interesting story to share. So I didn't have a credit card at that time, no credit history. But what had happened was, before I started this process, I had decided to buy a home appliance on EMI. So that time they were giving good discount. And I was not very...
What home appliance was it? TV, mixing
Washing machine.
Washing machine.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Okay, go on, please.
So I was not very keen on buying through that way, but my dad said that yes, they are giving a good discount. Let's do it that way. No problem. Systematically, we'll pay the EMIs. I went for that, but what happened was that model got delayed. The delivery got delayed, and it was delaying beyond quite some time.
Yeah.
So I was like, इस चीज के बिना तो घर पे चलने वाला नहीं है. I decided to go to the store and cancel that order. So I cancelled that order. What happened was, when they cancelled it, it was marked as if I have paid the amount early.
Okay.
So that helped me build my credit score, and it went up actually.
Amazing.
More than 750.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scoring a century on debut, 750 is a good number to begin with.
Right. So that time when that happened, it was marked as I paid early, and it went up to 786.
Okay. So that would have helped you in getting the home loan, right?
Right.
You just tell us the details of your home loan. What was that like? Did you, for example, go shopping, bargain one against the other, stuff like that? Just explain that to us.
So first thing what I did was reached out to my bankers. So I had nearly 3 bankers. I reached out to them. What are the home loan things there? What are the rates and all? I took there. Next thing what I compared it with outside also. So where I don't have a bank account, I reached out to them. I called the customer care. I took all the details on mail, and then I compared it. So I in fact also compared that along with home loan, what are the things that I'll need to purchase? So some were like, you'll need to purchase this term insurance from us.
Correct.
So that was there. I compared the processing fees, what will be charged. So everything was compared. And then I came down to one more factor, that all those scheduled banks or government banks, what thing is, I need to visit the bank very frequently for the process. For sanction, I'll need to visit.
That's a pain, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pain. And since I am into job, that was not possible for me.
Correct.
So I wanted a bank which has most of its process online so that I can do it from my home. I don't need to visit. That's when I came down to HDFC Bank.
Right.
And so they said the process is completely online. The person will come to your home to take the documents and you just need to visit once at the time of disbursement. So that was easier for me. And I did this in, I think, December 21. And that time, the real estate industry was booming and interest rates were at its lowest.
Correct.
Banks were providing you waiver of processing charges. So I had to pay a very nominal amount of processing charges and I was able to get there.
Yeah. Details like fixed, floating. I mean, how did you take a call on that?
Right. So at that moment, since the rates were at the lowest, banks were encouraging floating rates because they were like, if they give fixed rate, they'll be at a loss.
Locked in, yeah.
But I asked all of it. So when fixed rate came in, they said it will be 11 or 12%, whereas floating rate was 6.7% or 7% at that moment. So I thought, why not go for floating percentage? Because at least till the time it reaches 11 or 12, I'll have that benefit.
Okay.
So I decided I'll go for floating rate.
Okay. Could you just describe your loan to us, please? Like, for example, the tenure, and you just told us about the rate and stuff like that.
So I took it from HDFC Bank, HDFC Limited, and so I got a loan of 40 lakhs sanction.
Yeah.
However, the disbursement was 35 lakhs. And the interest rate when I took it was 6.7%. And it was for 15 years.
Okay. Is there any prepayment penalty or anything of that sort?
No, so that was not there. At that moment, to encourage people for taking loans, that all was there. That there will be no prepayment charges or something.
Yeah. And how does the disbursement work? Like, what was your home, your building like? Did they need the entire amount upfront? Was it a slab-wise payment, or how did that work?
So I had purchased it in a ready-to-move building. So it was in one go.
Okay.
So it was an investor flat actually. So I had to make the payment in one go to the investor, to the person.
Okay. And now that you are working and you're actually servicing this loan, I'm sure you've got a nice Excel sheet there where you've got the principal and then you've got your interest. Could you just explain to our viewers how a home loan actually works? In the sense that, are the EMIs fixed? For example, when the interest rate goes up, what happens? Do you have plans to prepay? It's a very long-term loan, So
Very true.
Talk about that from a user perspective.
I took that loan at 6.7% and that was for 15 years, 180 installments. And the installment is nearly 32,000 per month. So as and when the time will go, move, the interest proportion will come down, the principal will, increase.
Yeah.
However, what has happened is, if you see in the recent 2 years, the interest rate has shot up, due to which my term of the loan has been increasing. And unfortunately, the bank has not given me the option to increase my EMI. It has been, increasing my term. So it has now gone up to, I think, 20 years. So yes, so that is there.
But I'm assuming that at some point of time, as your income increases, you'll be able to prepay. So that option is always
Absolutely.
So how easy or difficult is it for you right now to service your EMI? You're in a comfortable position, you can do it?
Yeah, in a comfortable position. So as I have read somewhere that it should be, your EMI should be nearly 30 to 35% of your monthly income. So that is when you are able to service comfortably, subject to, of course, your other expenses are managed. So for me, it is within that range and it is easy for me.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you thought of the fact that you're young, your income is going to, hopefully increase every year, whereas your EMI remains the same.
Very true.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the tax breaks because that also makes a very big difference. Just walk us through that.
So as in when my income is increasing, naturally the tax load is also increasing. And there I see that this loan and the interest paid on it is giving me a good benefit. So at the moment, under the section house property, since I took the loan, I am one of the owners in that property. I am able to claim a interest deduction of 2 lakh rupees. So that is a good benefit for me. I'm not able to claim the benefit of ATC because I have other investments which I'm making. So that is not there. And under section 80EE, other thing is the market value of the property should be up to 50 lakhs. And in my case, it is nearly 85 lakhs. So that benefit is not there. But yes, this 2 lakhs benefit is I would say a blessing for me.
Yeah. Well, let's say that you go out with your friends, or your colleagues for a night out, or you're having dinner and you've got someone who's on rent and he's showing off. यार मेरे पास ये है, मेरे पास वो है, मेरे पास वो है, and you're like मेरे पास घर है. Okay. What is it about the buy versus rent debate? As someone who's young, who's decided to take a fairly large home loan early in life, what's your view on the entire buy versus rent debate?
I have always been a supporter of buying a flat. At least one flat one should buy, I believe. Then see, naturally when you move, you have a vacation home or something, that is when you can have a rent because that is not mandatory. But buying, I believe, it gives you a sense of security and you have a feeling of, having an asset. I mean, no doubt you are taking a liability in your balance sheet. So if I talk about from an accounts perspective, you have a liability, but you also have an asset being built. And what happens is, while people make calculations, renting versus buying, people usually make calculations of rent payout or the rental income which I'll generate on the property, 2.5 to 3%. But people forget the capital gains. So I have purchased my property in an area which is actually currently growing and there is a lot of development happening there. So which is giving me a good capital gain also. The day I wish to move, that will be a benefit for me. And and I have not bought a very costly flat. It is still in a good range. So the saturation point has not come yet.
Do you, for example, say after 5 years when hopefully your income increases, do you look at a scenario where you'll sell this and move to, say, a better place or a bigger place?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's there in your plans.
Yes, absolutely.
So do you think that, that is something which you probably put into your financial plan somewhere?
Right. So yes.
Yeah?
So while I'm earning now, apart from the EMIs, I am also targeting to keep a corpus. I build a corpus and keep a certain amount separate to move to a better place, a much larger house with much more better amenity.
Looks good on your CV when you're going to get married also, no? I mean,
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
Absolutely. So what you said is very true. So in this renting versus buying, people forget in India, still when a father is giving his daughter, people consider कि उस लड़के का खुद का घर है या नहीं है.
Nice. I like the sound of that.
Right.
So that played on your mind.
Yes.
But I hope that you get married soon and it's a very big thing in your
Thank
favor.
you.
I want to talk about hacks and tips, or any advice that you want to give to our viewers out there when it comes to a home loan. What's your message to them? What should they be looking at when they get into this?
A few things which I took care of is when you have taken a loan, don't sit back, don't relax, because also keep a watch on the market, what is happening. What rates the other banks are offering. So I'll give you an example. My home loan interest rate had gone up to 9.2%. This year, 2 months back, what I checked was other banks were providing it at 8.4% to the new, borrowers. So I reached out to my banks. I said, if I'm getting it transferred, I'll get a benefit of nearly 0.8%, which will bring down the tenure to great extent. So they said, okay, we'll check internally if we can do something for you. And within, I think 6 hours, they came back to me and they said, Acha, we'll match up that interest rate.
Wow.
So if I had forgot about this interest rate and this loan, I would be at a loss.
Yeah.
So one thing, this needs to be taken care of. Another thing is, while you feel your income might, comfortably complete or cover the interest, but you need to also ensure your timelines are the same. Because for me, the salary receipt date and the interest, the EMI payout date is the same. So I always need to ensure that, the hours ka lag is always in line. My salary comes first and then my EMIs.
It's थोड़ा cut to cut नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ, मतलब this is like very...
Right, very true. No doubt, I have a buffer. But yes, in some month, if I have bought a, say a capital purchase or some white goods, I have made a payment, I'll need to ensure that yes, it is comfortably covering the EMI amount.
Amazing. And you're how long into the home loan now?
So it's nearly 2.5 years now.
And no missing or anything. You've paid everything on time.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
I still remember once it had happened when my salary payout got delayed due to a technical issue and my interest, the EMI was supposed to go out. So that's when I paid a penalty of 200 rupees. But that was still fine. But yes, that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah. And I'm assuming your credit score has improved. Or has it...
It has improved.
Yeah. You're more comfortable with a credit product like a home loan, which is pretty much the largest, or at least among the largest loans that all of us take during a period. Have you also started to use other stuff like probably credit cards? Do you use them? What's your experience with that?
Yeah. So I use a credit card. So I travel a lot for my official work, and I at many places I have to spend for hotel bills or my travel bills. So that's when credit card is like a blessing for me, because my reimbursement from the office will come after a month. So that credit card helps me, wherein I don't have to block my own amount.
Lovely.
And I can cover the expenses well.
How's the feeling of owning your own home at such a young age?
Really proud really proud feeling.
Do you use all the facilities that you moved in there for, or do you have no time from your work or something?
No, absolutely. I'm able to use all those facilities, and it is really, I feel the best decision I ever made.
Right. I want one final, message from you for our folks who are still in this whole buy versus rent debate. I get what you're saying, which is a very important message, which is that for your own home, it makes sense to own it. Okay. Investment to chalte rehta, what you do, holiday home, etc. Let's not talk about that.
Right.
But when it comes to having your own home, you're someone who believes that you should. Okay. The resistance that comes from the rent camp is, of course, you should, but maybe you can wait. Maybe 10 years wait. Market mein dalo, market mein the 12% will. There are all these wild calculations that come and go.
Yes.
I want your take on that in terms of maybe unpacking it between the emotional part and the mathematical part. How about that?
Absolutely. So here I believe a lot of factors go into this decision. So if you are into a job and you are, you have decided you will be in a city for next 10 years. I believe buying a house makes more sense, because you do not want that hassle of, every 11 months renewing the agreement or moving to a different place. Also, if you are staying with your family, it might make sense, buying a house, because you don't want to, make them shift every time. And one more example I have here is, so I had my grandmother with me during that time. And so specifically this decision was taken for her also, because we used to take her to the doctor, and every time, so my old building didn't have an elevator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a problem for her to, climb down and up the stairs. So that's when I took this decision. So when you have, say, senior citizens in your family or kids, so it makes sense to give them that comfort rather than, moving again and again. Also, as I said, if you have youngsters or bachelors who are, getting married, so that also gives the other family the confidence that yes, their daughter is going into a right family. That will also make sense. And I believe if you have income which can very well cover your interest amount, your EMI amount, makes sense to do that rather than, seeing that returns of 12%, 18% on SIPs, mutual funds, because they can anywhere be different from your, expectation. That's what risk is, uncertainty.
Yeah.
But if you buy a house, there is no uncertainty. You have to pay the EMI. You have a stable job. I think that's a good decision.
And of course, as your income grows, you can also invest in the stock markets. It's not like either or.
Very true.
Yeah?
Very true.
And of course, I'm not even, I wouldn't want to talk about the capital gain. Hua, nahi hua, theek hai. That's something that is, outside of the debate. And of course, not having a landlord at all. At all.
Right.
Does that give you some comfort?
Very true. Yes.
Okay, folks, that is it. That's it. That's for today's episode. My guest, Anmol Jaju, chartered accountant and owner of a home. Anmol, thank you so much for doing this for our viewers.
Thanks a lot, sir, for having me here. It was beautiful discussing this with you.
Thank you.